Let's talk about Wi-Fi. It's that invisible magic that basically runs our entire lives. We use it every single day, but do we really know what's going on, how it works? It kind of feels like magic, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and see how this whole thing actually connects us all. All right, so our story starts right here with this little box. You've definitely got one of these somewhere in your house just sitting there blinking its little lights. This, my friends, is the home wireless router, and for our journey today, it's the main character. I mean, think about it. We connect everything to it. Our phones, laptops, TVs, our entire digital life depends on it. But what is really happening inside that thing? How does it get you from your couch all the way out to the global internet? Let's find out. Okay, so at its very core, your home router has one huge job: to be your gateway. It's the one and only bridge that connects all of the devices inside your private little home network to the massive public world of the internet. Now, here's what's so cool about this thing. This one box is a total multitasker. Seriously, it's a switch, which is why it has those ports on the back for you to plug in a cable. It's a wireless access point, which is the part that actually creates the Wi-Fi signal. And it's also a DHCP server. Think of it like a really organized party host that gives every device a unique name tag, or an IP address, so it knows who's who on the network. Plus, it handles two other super important jobs we're going to get to in just a sec: NAT and QoS. So, knowing what it is, that's step one. But how do you actually take control of it? Let's do a quick run-through of the absolute must-do first steps for setting up and locking down your home network. Look, the very first thing you should do with any new router is log in to its setup page. Then, your number one priority, and I mean it, is to immediately change the default admin password. Those factory passwords are all over the internet, so leaving it as is a huge security risk. And while you're in there, it's a pretty good idea to change the default IP address range too. It just makes your network a little less predictable to outsiders. Okay, next up, the Wi-Fi itself. This is where you give your network a fun name. That's called the SSID. You can also pick a wireless channel. Now think of channels like lanes on a highway. If your Wi-Fi and all your neighbors are on the same lane, things get super congested. But most important of all, security. You're going to want to pick a strong security mode. WPA2 Personal is a fantastic modern choice. And then lock it all down with a really strong, unique passphrase to keep anybody you don't want off your network. All right, remember that list of jobs the router has? Let's talk about one of the most brilliant ones: Network Address Translation, or NAT for short. This is an incredibly clever process, and it's basically the secret sauce to how your home internet even works. So here's the deal. Your internet service provider, they only give your entire home one single public IP address, just one. You can see it right here on a typical router's status page. It's like your home's single mailing address for the whole internet. So you've got to wonder, how can my laptop, my phone, and my smart TV all be online at the exact same time using just that one address? Well, the answer is NAT, and honestly, the best way to think about it is like a company's receptionist. Your whole house has one public phone number, that's your one IP address, but inside, every single device has its own private internal extension. So when your laptop wants to go to a website, it tells the NAT receptionist, "Hey, can you get this for me?" The receptionist makes the call out to the internet, gets the web page, and knows exactly which internal extension, your laptop, to send it back to. It's genius. Another really cool trick your router can do is something called quality of service, or QoS. So if NAT is the receptionist, then QoS is the traffic cop for your internet highway. It lets you create a VIP lane. You can actually tell your router, "Hey, this IP phone call or this online game of Counter-Strike, that's high priority." That way your game doesn't start lagging just because somebody else in the house decided to start streaming a 4K movie. So there you have it. That's our home router. A surprisingly powerful little box that does a whole lot to manage our digital lives. But what happens when that one box just isn't cutting it? Right, for bigger homes, I'm sure you've run into this: Wi-Fi dead spots. The go-to solution for this problem these days is a wireless mesh network. You just add a couple extra of these access points around the house, and they all work together like a team to create one big, seamless network, basically wrapping your whole home in a strong signal. But what if you need to scale up, like way up? Let's go from our home to a corporate headquarters. How in the world do you go from covering a house to providing solid, reliable Wi-Fi for an entire office building, a university campus, or an airport with thousands of users? Yeah, a couple of mesh extenders are not going to solve that problem. This is where we step into a whole new world, enterprise-grade Wi-Fi. And the secret weapon for managing networks on this kind of massive scale is a special piece of hardware called a WLC. And here it is, the Wireless LAN Controller, or WLC. Now, if your home router is a jack of all trades, the WLC is a dedicated, powerful specialist. You can even see from some of the configuration options on this screen here, it deals with way more complex stuff. Put simply, this is the central command. It is the single brain that intelligently runs the entire wireless network. So let's break down how this works, because the whole philosophy is completely different. Your home router, right, it's a standalone box that does everything itself. An enterprise system splits up the work. All the intelligence, all the smarts gets centralized into that one powerful WLC brain. And that brain then controls dozens or even hundreds of much simpler access points that are really just radios spread all over the building. And this approach has some massive advantages when you're dealing with that kind of scale. The WLC pushes out all the settings and manages every single access point automatically. Those APs you see on the ceiling become lightweight. They don't need any individual setup. They just get their orders from the WLC. Need to add Wi-Fi to a new floor? A technician just plugs in a new AP and bam, the WLC configures it instantly. All of your security, all of your network policies, everything is managed from one central spot. It's incredibly efficient. So as we start to wrap this up, let's just take a step back and appreciate the big picture here. We've kind of uncovered this invisible architecture that is literally all around us every day. What we've really seen is that the Wi-Fi we all depend on is built on an architecture that is brilliantly designed to scale. It all starts with that humble, all-in-one box in your home, and it can grow all the way up to this sophisticated brain and radio system that can power an entire campus. The end goal is the same, get you online, but how it's done changes completely depending on the size of the job. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. The next time you're at the office, or in a hotel, or you're waiting for a flight at the airport, and you connect to their Wi-Fi, look up. You might see one of those simple little access points on the ceiling. But now you know the real question to ask yourself is, hidden away somewhere in a server room, where's the brain?